Girls album. This is the first chapter in the book with spicy content. So TikTokers, you will miss the end of this chapter. YouTubers, enjoy. I will try and read it without laughing. So here we go. Chapter 2, the second song. I parked my Vanquish in a spot across from her apartment building. I was surprised when she gave me the address because she doesn't live in an upmarket area of Chicago. I guess because of where I met her, I assumed she'd been born with a silver spoon in her mouth. We've been texting since we met last weekend, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her again. I cross the street and press the button for her apartment. She answers and lets me inside. Hi, Ari. I use the nickname I've given her with a grin as I walk inside. She's wearing an emerald green silk sheath dress that matches her eyes. It's short and makes her legs look amazing. It also hugs every curve of her body, and I'll be damned if I'm not enjoying the view. Hi, Gabe, she says, and gives me a hug. Are you ready to go? We have reservations in 20 minutes, I remind her. Sure, just let me get my jacket. It looks like it might rain. It's a shame you have to cover up. I look her over appreciatively and she turns pink, which is pretty cute. I'm sorry, did I embarrass you? I ask as she returns from her room wearing a green jacket over the dress. A little bit, she admits. I don't want you to be embarrassed around me, I say as I take her in my arms. But I can't help complimenting you when you look as good as you do in that dress. I pull her toward me for a kiss, trying to sense if there's any hesitation from her, and when there's not, I'm glad. Our lips meet and hers are soft. She tastes like vanilla. I lower my hands down to her ass and pull her hard against me. Ariana raises her hands and begins to run them through my hair while she's kissing me, and I swear to God, I think that we should just forget about dinner entirely and head to her bedroom. We have reservations, I tell her as I pull my lips away from hers. Her hands are still tangled in my hair and I still have mine on her ass. She has to be able to tell that I'm about 5 seconds from a full-blown erection. We should probably get going then, she says, but she doesn't look like she really wants to. I nod in agreement and take her hand in mine, smiling at how enjoyable this is. We head out of her apartment and cross the street to where I parked my car. Nice wheels, she comments. What sort of car is it? This, my dear Ariana, is an Aston Martin Vanquish. It's the very first thing I bought once we were signed. I absolutely love it. I've always wanted one. Well, it's very nice, she tells me. I don't even know what to say to that. I've literally never had someone tell me that my Vanquish is very nice, as though I'm a kid presenting the crayon drawing they did at daycare. She sees the look on my face and laughs. It's infectious, and I can't stop myself smiling back at her. We drive to Giovanni's. It's one of my favourite restaurants in Chicago and the only Italian restaurant that Sebastian will ever go to. Giovanni greets us himself. He must have seen my name on the reservation and he asks how the guys are as he takes us to our favourite table at the back of the restaurant. I've never seen the server that comes to our table to take our drink orders before. When he comes back with our drinks, he hovers for a bit before asking if he can have my autograph. Does that ever get weird? Ariana asks as the waiter leaves with our orders of gnocchi for her and chicken parmigiana for me. The autograph thing? I ask her. Yeah, strangers wanting you to sign stuff. Isn't it odd? A little bit. I'm getting used to it, though it doesn't normally happen here at Giovanni's. I smile at her and take a sip of my beer. Sometimes it's inconvenient, but mostly it's flattering. Have you ever had a woman want you to sign her boobs or something like that? She asks me, looking curious as she does. I consider my answer, then decide to tease her. Do you want to know because you're jealous, or because you've got a Sharpie in your handbag and you'd like me to sign your cleavage? Ha ha, very funny, she says sarcastically. I was just wondering what the weirdest thing that's happened to you is. Nothing really yet, I reply. Sebastian did have one guy ask him to sign his inner thigh. He was wearing some really short shorts and wanted Seb's signature as high up on his thigh as possible. Apparently he was planning to get it tattooed there. Did he actually do it? Ariana laughs aloud and it's a beautiful sound. He did. I think he was too flattered to say no. It was when we'd first started getting some fame and he was still excited that people knew who we were. I can't believe he did it. I would have thought he was too much of an arsehole to be so nice to a fan. Ariana snorts. Aw, Ari, don't be like that. She shrugs at me and her lips are pursed. I hate the way Sebastian treats women at the best of times, basically as though they're disposable, and the way he hit on her was gross, but he's also incredibly loyal to all of us and a really good friend. We'd both been drinking that night. In fact, Sebastian was completely slaughtered when you met him. I know it's not an excuse, and he was definitely an asshole and totally out of line, but he's still one of my best friends. If you can give me a second chance, can you possibly give him one too? Maybe, she says. I tell you what, I'll reserve my judgment of him until the next time I meet him. That's all I ask. I can't stop myself from grinning, because if she's talking about giving Sebastian another chance, that means she's thinking about seeing me again. I hope to God he doesn't fuck it up. I really want Ariana to fit in with my friends, and Sebastian can be an acquired taste. This food is delicious, Ariana says after our food arrives and we begin to eat it. The Parmigiana is amazing, I tell her. Do you want a taste? Sure. I slice up a piece of chicken and reach my fork toward her. She leans forward and opens her mouth to allow me to feed her. I don't know what it is, but there's something erotic about doing this. Maybe it's because when she leaned forward, it gave me a very nice view of her cleavage. I watch her eating the chicken and she makes noises of delight over the taste of it that make my mind wander to dirtier places. As she eats, she looks at me in a strange way, then looks away. She's quiet for a minute as she goes back to eating her gnocchi. What are you thinking about? I ask her. Nothing much, she tells me. She places her fork down and sits back in her chair, then asks, where are we going next? I'm going to take her to play pool. It's one of my favourite things to do in my downtime. Sebastian has a table at his place, but I'm hardly going to take a woman there on our first date. Ah, that's a surprise, I tell her with a grin. Are you done with that gnocchi? I gesture to her half-empty plate. Sure, she tells me, and I switch plates with her. I love Italian food. Have you ever been to Italy? Ariana shakes her head and sighs. Nope, but I'd love to go someday, particularly to Venice. Why's that? I ask. Well, I've heard that it stinks in the canals, but it's made up for by the beauty of the place. I can just imagine spending afternoons going on gondola rides, walking through the narrow streets, taking in the amazing architecture, and buying souvenirs to bring home with me. She has this longing look on her face, and it makes me want to take her there, to show her the beauty of the place that she wants to visit so badly. I'd spend my evenings eating real Italian food. I bet there would be so many restaurants to choose from, and when dinner was done, I'd go dancing. She catches my eye and her cheeks flush bright pink, and she looks down at the table before shrugging. Anyway, that's why. It seems like it would be a nice place to visit. I smile at her, then sit up as I finish off the gnocchi and assure her, I'm sure you'll go someday. You probably will, on your future world tour or something, she tells me with a grin on her face, causing me to laugh. What's your favourite food? Similar. I'm a big fan of Greek food. There's this amazing Greek restaurant in Oak Park that I absolutely love. We'll have to go there sometime. She smiles at me, and I like that she's already thinking about us having a second date. Are you finished? I ask her. I'm feeling so full that I'm beginning to regret finishing off her plate, but Giovanni's food is always so good that I tend to overindulge when I come here. I couldn't possibly eat another bite, she says. That was delicious, but I'm so full. You don't want coffee or dessert then? I ask. Ariana blows out a long breath of air as she places a hand on her stomach and shakes her head at me. I couldn't possibly fit another thing in, but feel free to order something if you want it. I'm happy to just sit here. No, I'm fine, I reply, grateful that we can go for a walk to the pool hall after such a heavy dinner. I ask our server for the check and sign for the meal, passing on my compliments as I do. It's a couple of blocks to get to the pool hall from Giovanni's. I've been to this place with the guys more times than I can count. Pool? She asks me when we get close enough for her to realize where we're going. Yep, do you play? Not well and not often. It'll be nice to play with someone who doesn't whoop my ass for once. I'm not terrible at the game like Hayden, but I can't beat Sebastian for the life of me. Great, because I don't like to lose, I tease her. She pokes her tongue out at me as we walk into the building, and I'm distracted by thoughts of other things we could be doing together. I get us pool balls and chalk, then head to table 8. It's on the left-hand side of the large room, which is full of tables. The lighting in the pool hall is dim, with each table lit up by the light that hangs directly over it. The air is musty and filled with the sounds of people laughing and pool balls clacking against one another. I love coming to this place. I've been here so many times after dinners at Giovanni's with the guys. I've never brought a woman here before, though. We each pick a cue from the rack on the wall, and I rack up the balls as I ask, "Do you want to break, or should I?" "You can break," she says as she gives me a smile, looking nervous as I nod my confirmation back at her. I line up to take my shot, then hit the white ball toward the triangle of balls at the other end of the table. I knock down 2 stripes, which is a very good start to the game. "I'm stripes, you're solids," I tell her with a grin on my face. "No pressure, but you have to sink at least 1 ball or I'll pants you." "You'll pants me?" She gives me a quizzical look. "Yep. Traditionally, you have to drop your trousers and run around the table in your underwear. I guess in your case you would have to hike your dress up over your hips." I wink at her and look very obviously at the hem of her dress, thinking that I would very much like to succeed in doing this. "Is that even legal? Wouldn't we be kicked out?" she asks me, sounding incredulous. "The rules of pantsing are steadfast. They cannot be broken. So make sure you get a ball down, no matter how much I would love for you to be pantsed." She takes her turn and hits one of my balls, looking adorably frustrated with herself when she does. On my turn, I get 2 balls down before I miss my next shot. Ariana manages to hit one of her solids, but it bounces off the side at the end pocket and doesn't go in. "You're really not very good at this, are you?" I can't resist teasing her before she takes her next turn. "I told you I didn't play very well," she says. "You might just pants me yet. Here, let me show you what to do." I walk over to her, place my hands on her shoulders and turn her entire body so that she's aimed toward the purple number 4 ball that's lined up with the corner pocket opposite us. I stand directly behind her, place my left hand over hers at the front of the cue, and place my right arm around her to grip the cue behind her. I'm distracted for a moment because she smells flowery and exotic. Her hands feel so small underneath mine, and I want to explore every inch of her body. I get my shit together before helping her sink the ball. She's so excited that she jumps up and down, obviously pleased with the result, and it makes me smile. "I did it!" she exclaims. "You sure did," I agree, even though it's an obvious lie. "You've still got another shot left because you sunk that one. Let's try and sink the ball by the center pocket." This gives me an excuse to hold her close again. I take my time lining her up to take her turn, enjoying the closeness between us. I put my hands on her shoulders to angle her, then place my hand over hers, but allow my left hand to slide down her arm to take position over her hand on the cue. I hear her breathing speed up as we hit the white ball with the cue, sending the blue number 2 into the center pocket. Obviously, she wants me as much as I want her, so I'm surprised by her next words. I think I've got it now," she tells me. "Are you sure?" I ask, not moving from where I am, standing directly behind her with my arms still around her. She turns her face to me, and I'm amazed by just how green her eyes are. I murmur huskily, "I really think you could use a little more instruction." "Yeah, I am sure. Plus, those people over there are watching us, and I think they might have recognized you," she tells me. I look across the table at the room, where a group of people in their late teens or early 20s are playing snooker. They're whispering and glancing in our direction every now and then. Damn. I don't mind fans recognizing me, but I was having a nice night out with Ariana. I sigh deeply, and I'm disappointed by the need to distance myself from her. I move around the table so that my back is facing them. "It's still your shot," I tell Ariana as I smile at her. She smiles back and takes her turn. I'm surprised by how much I like her. She's really sweet and genuine, but I can tell that she still sees me as a rock star, which is frustrating. People recognizing me when we're out together won't help that. I mean, obviously I am a rock star, but I'm also a man who thinks she's sexy as fuck and is hoping that this date ends with us in bed together. She's slightly better after my lesson, but she only manages to sink 1 more ball before I sink the number 8 in the corner pocket and win the game. The people at the other table are still looking over at us, and I'm completely on edge, waiting for them to come over and say something. Ariana must have noticed, because she asks me, "Do you want to leave?" "Only if you don't want to play another game," I tell her, but I'm grateful that she's the one who suggested it, so I'm not the person cutting our date short. "No, I'm happy to go. Plus, I wouldn't want to humiliate you by literally beating the pants off you in our next game." I can't help but smile at her joke. We pay for the table and start walking back to my car. As soon as we're in the fresh air, I can feel myself relax and the tension leaves my body. "Are you okay?" she asks quietly. "Yeah, I'm fine. I don't mind being recognized most of the time, but when people recognize you and don't come up to you, it can get frustrating. You know that they know who you are, and they know that you know they know who you are, so they don't want to make a fool of themselves. It's like a stalemate. If they came over, said hello and got an autograph or whatever, it would all be done with. But instead, I just get on edge waiting for them to actually come over. Anyway, listen to me, poor little famous celebrity." "First world problems," she agrees, and I laugh at her. When we reach the car, I open the door before getting in and starting the engine. I start driving toward her apartment, and Ariana is quiet during the drive. I wonder what she's thinking about, and I also wonder if she'll invite me up. Should I ask her for a coffee or something? I'm not ready for our night to end. Halfway to her apartment, the floodgates open up and rain begins to pour from the sky in an uncharacteristically severe summer storm. By the time we pull up to the front of her apartment building, thunder has started crashing with lightning flashes in the distance. "Do you want me to walk you to your door?" I ask her, hoping desperately that she'll say yes. She looks so beautiful and unsure as she thinks about it. I'm disappointed as hell when she answers my question. "It's probably best if you don't. There's no sense in both of us getting saturated." "Okay then," I say. I try not to give away how disappointed I am because I don't want to push her too far, too fast. The whole rock star thing is obviously an issue for her, and it's not like that's going to change. She's just sweet, and I wanted to spend more time with her tonight. "I'll talk to you later. Text me when you get home so I know you're safe," she requests. "Will do, sweetheart." I lean across the space between us to kiss her, and she kisses me back. This is a mistake. My will to be a gentleman for her is crumbling, and I madly want to throw her over my shoulder and drag her back to some cave. I break our kiss while I still have some sensible thoughts in my brain and say, "I'll see you later, Ari." She nods and opens the car door. She's completely saturated the moment she gets out of the car, and I hear the sound of raindrops hitting the leather seat before she slams the door shut and runs across the path and into her building. Not before I can see how the emerald green dress is clinging to every curve of her body, though. I drive slowly on the way home, partially because of the storm, but also because I can't get the image of Ariana in that wet dress out of my mind. She looked just as good as she did the last time I saw her in a wet dress. I laugh, thinking that it's funny how she keeps getting wet around me. That thought immediately causes a shot of arousal that I feel directly in my crotch. Damn, she's hot and funny and cute, and I forgot to organize a time for us to meet up again. I reach my apartment building, press a button on the remote in my center console, and pull my car into the garage. When I get into my apartment, I groan at the complete silence and lack of any light. None of the electronics are running, and I'm unsurprised when I flick a switch only for nothing to happen. I strip off my clothes and pull on some sweats. The storm is still raging, and occasionally a flash of lightning lights up the room. I grab my phone and relax on the bed before calling Ariana. "Ari?" I ask when she answers. As if someone else might be on the line, I'm an idiot. "Hi, Gabe. You got home okay?" "I'm home safe and sound. How are you?" I ask. "I'm good. No power, though. It went off not long ago," she grumbles. "No power here, either. I saw you got drenched, too," I tell her. The image of her running in the rain to her building with her green dress clinging to every curve of her body flashes into my mind again. "Yep, pretty much immediately," she confirms. "You looked so fucking sexy all wet like that." "Damn it, Gabriel, you're not meant to be pushing her too far, too fast." "Did I?" she asks in an innocent tone, but I'm pretty sure she's flirting. "Definitely. I had more trouble driving home because of that than I did due to the storm," I murmur in a husky voice, full of the lust I'm feeling right now. "I'm glad you got home okay," she tells me. I wish I wasn't home okay, though. I want to be there with her. Instead of saying that, I tell her, "Me too. I'm just lying in bed and watching the storm through the window now." "Oh, really? What are you at bed then?" Her voice is so sweet and musical, and damn her, I'm starting to get hard. So even though I'm wearing clothes at the moment, I answer her question about what I wear to bed. "Nothing? You?" "Well, normally I wear pajamas. Right now I'm in the bath, so I'm not wearing anything either." My eyes widen as she imparts this information to me. you're in the bath. If I thought that I was getting hard before, I'm instantly fully erect at the image of her lying in a bath. My hand slips into my sweatpants and I start stroking myself as she replies, I am. It's a lovely warm bubble bath. I could have warmed you up better than any bath, I tell her, wishing more than anything that I was there with her. I bet you could have. I wish you were here right now, warming me up. It's nice to know that she's on the same page as me here. Tell me, Ari, where would you want me to be if I was there with you right now? I'm stroking myself and envisaging her hands doing it instead. Oh God, I'd give anything to have you in this bath with me. Close your eyes, I tell her. Then I instruct her. Imagine me behind you, my hands running all over your body, playing with your nipples as they get harder. Close your eyes, I tell her. Then I instruct her. Imagine me behind you, my hands running all over your body, playing with your nipples as they get harder. I'm breathing faster as I start talking and stroking myself faster, slowly lowering my hand down between your legs so I can finger you. I hear her groan and it's so fucking hot that I think I might blow, and the feeling intensifies when she says, I would reach behind me to grab your cock, rubbing it ever so slowly up and down. I bet you would feel amazing in my hand. Oh baby, you have no idea how hot I am just thinking about being with you. It's so true that it hurts. I'm half thinking about driving back to her place and fucking her stupid. So much for not pushing her too far too fast. I can hear her panting and it drives me wild. I'm surprised that this is happening. I did not expect this at all when I called her. It's a very nice surprise, that's for sure. I'm so wet right now, she moans. I'm rubbing my clit and pretending that it's your hand and I'm so close to coming. Come for me, baby. I want to hear you orgasm, I manage to say as I continue stroking my cock. I can barely hold myself off until I hear her come. She says my name when she does, and it stirs something deep within me. I'm incredibly satisfied by it, and it tips me over the edge into my own orgasm. God, you're amazing, I murmur. You're not bad yourself, sexy man, she responds. I spend the rest of the evening texting Ariana and wishing that she was with me. I've had to stop myself from asking her if I could come over. Several times, actually. She already said no when I dropped her off, though, and asking again would be too pushy. Fuck, I wish she was with me, though. And that is the end of chapter 2. So the next one will obviously be chapter 3, and that is the first time that we see them. But TikTok won't see that. YouTube, you will. So please like and subscribe and tell your friends and share this video and comment down below with your thoughts on chapter 2. Thank you. Bye.